I am grateful to my friend, director of the International Academy of Indian Culture, to have asked me to lay the foundation stone of the Academy's building and to inaugurate the function. I associate myself with both of these functions with pleasure. For some time past, I have been familiar with the objects of and the work done by the International Academy of Indian Culture, and I feel that despite its limited resources, the Academy has been doing valuable work in the field of research. I believe there are some other institutions also carrying on researches in Indology and other branches of ancient thought, but I do not think any one of them has been able to cover such a range of subjects and such a wide field as to include Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Central Asia as the International Academy of Indian Culture. Seeing the importance of this work, it seems essential that the Academy should be encouraged in its work as far as possible. Search for knowledge is as interesting a pursuit as the acquiring of it. The ancient knowledge which recorded history and old monuments unreveal to us has its limitations. These sources of history do not carry us very far, and in some cases, they do not tell us enough of the currents and cross currents of popular thought. Luckily, we have another source of having a peep into the dim and forgotten past. That source consists of ancient works and manuscripts found in a variety of languages and scripts. An examination of this data and its proper integration can also add to our knowledge of that period. Not much by way of research has till now been done so far as the countries of the East are concerned. Although scholars are of the view that exchange of thought and mutual give and take on the intellectual level has not been less in Asia than in other parts of the world. By not assimilating this knowledge, we are not only keeping our information incomplete but are also unable to assess correctly man's intellectual progress through the ages. That is why proper integration of the bits of knowledge scattered in various lands is not only essential for the lifting of the curtain over patches of ignorance but also for having an integrated history of the intellectual evaluation of man. This is being done now. The story as to how thoughts travel almost like electricity from one place to another, influencing and inspiring peoples of far flung lands, is extremely interesting. Short stories of ancient India and our social and religious thoughts spread in far off territories, crossing many seas and sealing many a high mountain peak. In the same way, the Buddhist faith and thought and the Buddhist conception of art traveled to foreign lands at a time when, comparatively speaking, the means of communication were more or less non existent. Persistent efforts of devout thinkers and scholars give wing to those thoughts, and like saplings planted them in other countries where they blossomed and bore fruit. In all these countries, Buddhist thought and traditions were assimilated in the influenced by local thought. It has been the effort of the International Academy of Indian Culture to present all those currents of thought in a readily assimilable and integrated form. It is gratifying to note that in its efforts, the Academy has met with considerable success, as a result of which it is going to launch its publication program, making a beginning with this. This book is a collective record and integrated view of the many currents of thoughts that crossed each other throughout vast territories in the Himalayan fastness of Tibet and from the Pacific island of Indonesia up to the snow covered areas in Siberia and Central Asia. India thought had influenced all this vast area in ancient times. I hope the publication of this will throw much light on the undetermined history of these ancient countries and the exchange of thought that one took place among them. I am glad that the International Academy of Indian Culture has planned the publication of such a monumental work. All this information about the ancient history of Eastern countries and their mutual relationship is coming to us at a time when there is an upsurge of awakening discernible in them. This knowledge is therefore of particular importance to us, not only the countries of Asia but all the nations of the world are getting closer to one another, and all of them feel that the world can be saved from destructive wars by strengthening mutual ties of goodwill and friendship. Our knowledge of the relations which subsisted among the various countries in ancient times is bound to lend strength to the basis of international friendship.